Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you today about trapezoids and finding the area of them. So first thing I want to do is to make sure that we understand what a trapezoid is. And if you notice, I have a new background because I want to make sure that I draw things accurately. So what is a trapezoid? So it's a quadrilateral. Quad meaning four, lateral meaning side, so it's a four-sided figure. A quadrilateral with, exactly one set of parallel sides. So this totally doesn't meet the definition of a parallelogram, which says that both sets of opposite sides are parallel. In a trapezoid, only one of them is, okay? So let's draw a picture of a trapezoid, and then we're going to do a little bit of magic. So here's my trapezoid. And they come all sorts of different ways. We have right trapezoids. In fact, I'll draw a right trapezoid. And the reason why it's a right trapezoid, because these two sides end up in a right angle. So we have two bases, and they're not the same length. So we actually label them as base 1 and base 2. And then we need a line that's perpendicular to both bases. So in this case, it happens to be this side. That's going to be your height. Okay, so I'm going to write here that the height is a line perpendicular to, maybe I could write that correctly. Both bases and separates one base from the other. Okay, so if you notice this guy, he would not be a height because he's not perpendicular to the bases. But I could draw another base, or another height, excuse me, just like that. Okay? So you can draw the height could be inside your base, or it could be aside if it is a right trapezoid. Okay? So I want to go ahead and talk about what if I take a trapezoid, and let's make it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to take two of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so these two would be considered congruent trapezoids. Okay, remember that word means same shape, same size. And to be the same sides, all the measurements are the same. And then therefore, I added an E and I shouldn't have. They are not only the same shape, that means all the dimensions are the same. That means the perimeter is the same. That means the area inside is the same. But I'm going to take those two congruent trapezoids and let me actually label things. So I'm going to call this base 1, base 2, and since they're identical, they would have the same exact measurements here. And then I'm going to let this be your H, and it's going to be the same thing. So color-coded means they're the same as well, okay? But what I'm going to do is redraw them. So I'm going to take the first trapezoid and keep it looking exactly the same. So 4 across, 2, 2, 4 across. across. But then I'm going to take the second one. Oh, let me label. So we have base 1, base 2, and then we've got the height. And I'm going to take the second one and I'm going to flip it upside down. Flip it upside down. And by doing that, I'm going to put the base 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, on the top, and the base 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, on the bottom. And again, he has the same exact height as the other guy. So now look what I've formed. I have formed a parallelogram, right? Oh, I didn't spell that right. Parallelogram. So what do we know about parallelograms? Okay, so parallelogram has an area that's equal to the base times the height. Okay. Ooh. Well, this one has a base that actually is made up of 2 parts. So we've got base 1 plus base 2. They together form the base of that parallelogram. Now, what's the height? That's that h value. They both are the same height. They're same exact tallness. Sounds weird to say it that way, but there we go. But that's the area of the parallelogram. However, we want to figure out what the area of the trapezoid is. Now remember, I have 2 trapezoids that I put together, 2 identical trapezoids, 2 congruent trapezoids that I put together to form that parallelogram. So if I wanted to figure out what the area of just one of those trapezoids is, I think we can all agree it would be half of that parallelogram I created. So I'm going to take that area of the parallelogram and I'm going to cut it in half. And that is the formula for the area of the trapezoid. So that is the formula that we need to memorize. Memorize. Okay. So that's where I came up with that formula. So I'm going to go to a new page here, and I'm going to keep this grid because I got to draw some trapezoids. And we're going to go ahead and just practice finding the area and finding the missing dimension, just like we've done on the other assignments. Now, I'm thinking you guys will end up going on a second page for your notes today, just because of we have 2 examples of each. So the first one says find the area of the trapezoid. And the second set of directions we'll be dealing with is going to ask us to find the missing dimension. So just get those titles up there. And remember, dimension is, for in this case, base 1, base 2, height. Okay? All right, so let's do 2 examples of finding the area. So I'm going to draw a picture. And let's see. We've got 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, I need to move that. We're going to make this 5 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to go over 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, boop, all the way to the edge here. Okay, so I'm going to put my numbers back in. So this is 5 inches. That's your base 1. This is base 2. And it doesn't matter who's base 1 and who's base 2. You just know they're the two sides that are parallel to each other. Okay? And then this guy is going to be 7 inches. Now, this is what we call a right trapezoid because these are right angles. Okay? That height is at right angles to the two bases. So we start with a formula where area is equal to 1/2 base 1 plus base 2, and then times the height. So we have 1/2, and our two bases are 5 and 12, and then our height is 7. Okay, and we continue simplifying, and we get 1/2, and you have to, order of operations says take care of what's in the grouping symbol, so we get 17 times 7. Now, I think Jack McLean mentioned in our meeting on Thursday that his dad always taught him multiply the base times the height and divide by 2. Okay, and yeah, that works. But I always like to see if I could take half of one of those numbers, the base number or the height number, and then, like in a triangle, and then I have smaller numbers to multiply. This case, I've got numbers that aren't nice. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 17 times the 7. And I get 49, and I get 11, so I get 119. And now I'm going to have to divide that by 2. So 2 goes into 11 5 times, which is 10 with 1 left over. Oops. And 2 goes into 19 9 times, which is 18 with 1 left over. So I'm going to write that leftover as a fraction. So I get the area is 59.5, and then I need to, or 59.5, and then we have inches times inches, so that's square inches. So that's the area for this guy. Okay. Now the next one, I'm going to not make it match up with my diagram, potentially. Let's see, or maybe I could. Let's see if I can do it. So 1, 2 and a half, and then we're going to go, I'm going to draw a height down. This will make it easier. 1, 2, 4, and then we're going to go 4.8. So yeah, this one's going to be kind of hard. 2, 3, 4, and then this much. So chances are you would not be able to guess what those numbers are, right? So that's why they're going to get labeled. 2.5 meters, 4.8 meters. And then the height is going to be 4 meters. Okay? So we're going to start with the formula. 1/2 the sum of the bases, base 1 plus base 2, times the height. And then I'm going to start just plugging numbers in. So I'm going to go back to the over here. So I have a 2.5 plus a 4.8. And then we're going to multiply it by the height, which I colored red this time, which is a 4. Now, this is that situation where I'm going to take the 1/2 times the 4. So half of 4 is 2. And so now I have area equals 2 times the quantity, and then I'm going to add these two guys. So I'm going to do it up a little higher. Line up my decimal points. I get a 13, 6, and 1 is 7, so 7.3. So I'm going to continue over here. I'm going to multiply this number by 2, 1 digit after the decimal point, and I get 14.6, and the label would be square meters. Okay? All right, so let's deal with, what if I give you some information, but I don't give you all the information? Now, the interesting thing is, you're not always going to be given a picture. Just letting you know. Okay? So this one, I'm going to just not do it to scale. I'm just going to draw pretty fun looking one. And again, these are right angles, right? And then I'm going to put in some information. So for my top base, it's 12 feet. For my bottom base, it's 15 feet. For my height, it's going to be, I have no clue, h. So I'm just going to keep it as h. So I start with a formula. Area equals 1/2 the base 1 plus the base of 2 times the height. So I plug numbers in, and I'm going to get 12 plus 15, and then I'm going to have h. Now, note, I cannot take half of 12. That's not how it works. I got to follow order of operations. So I get, oh, I forgot. You have to get one more piece of information. I got so fast. Area is going to be equal to 108 square feet. Okay? All right. So I'm going to plug, oops, sorry, I'm not supposed to be doing that. Put them back. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change one thing. Let me just get this guy out of the way. So I'm going to substitute in the 108 over here, and then that's going to equal 1/2 times 27 times the h. So my job is to get that h alone. Now I've got two things going on. Now, if I multiply by 27 and 2/2, I'm going to get a decimal answer. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of these one at a time. I'm going to get rid of the half by multiplying by the reciprocal, which is a 2. So that's going to give me 216 equals 27h. And then I want to get h by itself. So the inverse of multiplying by 27 is dividing by 27. So I'm going to do that off to the side. 27 can't go into 2, can't go into 21, so it's got to go into that guy. So he's about 25. So I'm going to guess my answer. I'm going to do some stuff over here. I'm going to say it's going to be around 8. So let's try that. So I get 56. 16 and 5 is 23. Too much. So let's try 7. So I get 49. 14 and 4 is 18. So I'm going to get 7, and I get 189. So when I subtract, I get a 7. I get 27. Oh, apparently I don't know how to do math very well. Because my remainder is exactly the same. So apparently I don't know how to do math anymore. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and do what we call back to the old drawing board, because I can't have a difference that's the same. So that means here I didn't add right. So I get 56. 16 and 5 is not 23, it's 21. Oh, yeah. So this actually is going to be 8. Don't you love it when the teacher makes a mistake? Makes you feel better when you make one, right? So we get h is 8. So the only thing we need to do is to add the label. Now, remember, it's just going to be a single label because of the fact that there's, it's just a dimension, it's just a side, it's just a part, a piece. All right, the other way that you're probably going to see the homework is like this, or the examples. They're going to tell you pieces of information. So the area is 24 square centimeters, base of 1 is 4 centimeters, base of 2 is 12 centimeters, and height is our mystery number. So we start with a formula. Area is 1/2 the sum of the bases times the height. And then I start plugging numbers in. So area, they told us, was 24. We still have a 1/2. We're going to be adding the two bases, which in our case are 4 and 12. And then height's the mystery. We don't know what he is. So we're going to simplify. And that gives me 24 equals 1/2 times the quantity 16 times h. Oh, well, this is much nicer. I can take half of 16. Half of 16 is 8. So I'm going to do that symmetric property and rearrange. And so I'm left with 8h equals 24. And divide both sides by 8. And I get h equals 3. So the height is 3, and the label would be regular centimeters. All right, so that's what you guys are going to be practicing starting Tuesday. So if you have this video done by Tuesday, that would be fantastic. Don't forget to take pictures of it through Cam Scanner, Adobe Scanner, and upload it into the assignment that will be showing up on School Loop. All right, see you guys. Bye-bye.